After a 2-year hiatus, Love, Death and Robots is back, and it's ready to give the best animation studios another chance to flex their creative muscles. Much like my video 2 years ago, which you can find in the description, I'm reviewing every episode individually. Let's dig in. Automated customer service. An elderly woman fights to survive when her automated technology goes on a homicidal rampage. By far the most light-hearted and comedic entry in the second season, this one is very tongue-in-cheek, helped along by the exaggerated proportions of the characters and the smooth movements of the machines. Everything flows incredibly well as the pensioner dashes around her house. Add to that some clever subversions and you have an enjoyable tale. 3.5 out of 5 stars, an entertaining start to the second season. Ice. A group of teenagers on a backwater planet push their luck against creatures beneath the surface. When the episode begins, you'll be wowed by the presentation, which moves at a breakneck pace. If you're a fan of the UK band Gorillaz, you'll know exactly where the inspiration came from. With that said, this episode falls down due to its limp story. With much of the background events going underused, it's just a bunch of teenagers going on a rebellious dare. While the payoff of the flying whales looks incredible, everything else feels very shallow. 2 out of 5 stars, it's rather disappointing. Pop Squad. 2 detectives enforce strict control over the poor population while enjoying luxury in the high towers. This is definitely the best episode of the bunch. What puts it a cut above the rest is its internal conflict. Thanks to some brilliant facial expressions on our leading man Briggs, voiced by Nolan North, you get the sense that there's a lot of pent-up guilt and questioning of his actions against unauthorized children. The contrast between the two societies is also very strong. I wanted to learn more about this world, but the story on offer is still highly engaging. 4 out of 5 stars, make sure you check this one out first. Snow in the Desert. On a backwater planet, a fugitive with regenerative abilities evades bounty hunters and forms a connection with a woman who tags along on his trek. This is another solid episode that takes full advantage of its setting while making the most of its limited length. It packs a ton of detail into both character models and the bloody carnage that unfolds. We know from the get-go that this guy has a reputation among the stars that makes him a prime target. Thanks to some great action and a neat twist involving his companion, it makes a memorable impact. 4 out of 5 stars, this one ranks at the top of the second offering. The Tall Grass. A Victorian commuter is caught in a race for his life when he stumbles across hideous crawlers in the country fields. With its more classical style and tone, this episode features a foreboding atmosphere and lighting set that continues to build when the protagonist strays away from the tracks. The claustrophobic danger in the long grass is palpable, and you can feel the terror from this unwitting passenger. As he desperately tries to get back to the train, the threat rises, and this entry is enhanced further by some stunning artwork that looks like a painting in motion. 3.5 out of 5 stars, the creep factor succeeds well. All Through the House. 2 young siblings sneak around the house on Christmas Eve to meet Santa Claus, only to find their fantasy is not what they imagined. Probably the weakest episode of the entire series so far. At 7 minutes long, it has very little to offer outside of an off-kilter take on Father Christmas. Both the creature and the story are heavily inspired by Krampus, but the story ends before it can deliver something new. Outside of the monster's novelty, there's nothing else to see here. 1.5 out of 5 stars, avoid this entry. Lifehutch. A space pilot struggles to survive in a planetary shelter when a defensive robot mistakes him for the enemy. With its near photorealistic look and a split between past and present, the episode's story is deftly told with some grisly injuries to boot. This soldier has to use his own ingenuity to outsmart the machine, making for a tense encounter. Add to that the massive amount of detail in the initial space battle, and you've got a well-made outing. Even if the conflict is similar to automated customer service. 3.5 out of 5 stars, you'll get a fair bit of enjoyment out of it. The Drowned Giant. When the corpse of a giant washes up on the shore, a local academic observes and comments on the event. While the animation is well done, showing the slower decay of the body, it's the audio that really makes an impression. Stephen Pacey's narrations fill the episode with intrigue, pulling you into his research. Outside of this, things are fairly standard, with the public reacting to the giant in ways you'd expect. 3 out of 5 stars, an acceptable close to the 8 episodes. The second serving of Love, Death and Robots continues to boast some excellent animation, and on occasion a compelling story. Sometimes it feels like a bit of a letdown, however. With fewer episodes and a smaller pool of stories on display, it has a trickier time engaging. This places more emphasis on the 8 episodes to deliver, and they range from enjoyable to shallow. Because no episodes really stood out in this second season, I'm dropping my collective rating down to 3.5 out of 5 stars. A good effort, but here's hoping the planned third set can up its game.